Chapter 12.2, Day 2, we're looking at techniques for evaluating limits. We're going to evaluate limits from calculus, and in the next example, we're going to study an important type of limit from calculus. It's the limit of a difference quotient. And so let me write that out for you. The difference quotient is the limit of f of x plus h minus f of x over h. You will see that a lot. So find the function f of x equals x squared minus 1, and we're going to find the limit of, as h approaches 0, of f of 3 plus h minus f of 3 over h. So first of all, let's take a look at the f of 3 plus h. So we're taking that as our x and plugging it in here. So this is our x value, so just kind of go over a little bit slowly. That goes where our x is. So this is going to be 3 plus h and then squared minus 1. Okay, so we're just substituting. So now let's do the next one of f of 3. So f of 3. So f of 3, we're just plugging it in. So 3 squared minus 1. So now let's plug that into the top, or plug that into here. So this is the limit as h approaches 0. And this is going to be 3 plus h squared minus 1, and then minus our f of 3, which is this. So minus 3 squared minus 1 all over h. So now let's simplify this. So we have here 3 plus h and all squared is going to be 9 plus 6h plus h squared, and then minus 1, and then minus 3 squared minus 1. So that is 9 minus 1, so that's going to be 8. And then this is all over h. And again, this is the limit as h approaches 0. So let's simplify this now a little bit more. So this is going to be, I'm going to have the h squared here, and I'm going to change this to a negative 8, right? So negative 1 minus 8, that's going to be a negative 9. And notice 9 minus 9 is 0, so that goes away. So now we have h squared and 6h, that's all that's left, over h. Now we factor. So this is h times h plus 6 over h. And notice now that our h's cancel out. So we're looking at the limit as h approaches 0 of h plus 6. And so what we find is the answer is 0 plus 6 or 6. So try this next example out on your own. Find the function f of x equals 4x minus x squared, and then find the limit as h approaches 0 of f of 2 plus h minus f of 2 over h. So plugging this in, you would find this here. You would find that the answer is 0 after all of that. But notice it's not 0, 0, right? You can't have 0 over 0. But once you plug everything in, do the algebra involved in it, then you will find the limit as h approaches 0 is 0. You do this quite a bit in calculus, and we'll do this in the rest of this chapter as well. So you'll get some great practice on this topic. Now let's take a look at an example in the book, because it's a little different than this example here. In this example, we're given a specific value to plug in. We're given that x is 3, and then we're plugging it into our function. So in the examples number 45, 46, 47, and 48, we're finding an equation. So find the limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing that we did previously. Now we just don't have what x value is. And so let's try number 46, because I know 45, you can look at CalcChat. So f of x plus h, so we're plugging in first f of x plus h into this function. So this is going to be 3 times x plus h squared minus 5 times x plus h, and then plus 1. So that's our f of x plus h, and then our f of x, this is just this same exact equation here, right? So that's going to be 3x squared minus 5x plus 1. So let's plug this in to this difference quotient, right? So this is the difference quotient. really important. I would, as a hint, or just as a just to be careful, is be careful of the signs when you're plugging it in. So make sure this is positive here. So occasionally I find myself plugging in the wrong sign, and then don't forget this is negative, and therefore you need to distribute it into the right side. So be careful. Small things to look for. So let's plug it into the difference quotient. We have, so this is our first value, 3 times x plus h squared minus 5 times x plus h plus 1, and then minus our f of x, so minus 3x squared minus 5x plus 1, and that's all over h. And again, we're finding the limit as h approaches 0. So number 1, that's how you set it up, and now the rest of it is just the algebra involved in solving it. So go ahead and try multiplying this through. You are going to get an equation at the end, but just try it out, and then I'll have the answer for you in just a minute when you return. All right, if you tried it out, again, it's just the algebra involved in doing this. And something that I want to point out is a lot of times some of these things are going to cancel out, which makes it very, very nice. And the h should be able to cancel out at the end. So just take a look at the work here. You would find all the way down here the h factors out, and it cancels it out, factors out completely. And then we still have an h here. So the limit as h approaches 0 of 3h plus 6x minus 5, you notice that if you plugged it in, h is 0, so that goes away, and we're left with the answer of 6x minus 5. So number 45, 46, 47, and 48 are excellent practice for calculus. So those of you that are considering taking it, these are great problems to do.